So when I initially wrote the song, I didn't write it to be a remix. I wrote it as an original, and I had all these other vocals in here. And then one day I was just listening to it, prepping for a set, and I was listening to this build up section, and I was in my head just thinking, go, 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 go. I was like, oh wait, I gotta make an edit with this. So I made an edit, put the 50 Cent lyrics on here, and it just fits so well that I knew that I had to put it out like this.
Go shorty, it's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. We gon' sip a party like it's your birthday. And you know we don't give a fuck, it's not your birthday. You can find me in the club, bottle full of bug. Mama, I got what you need if you need to fill the bars. I'm in the having sex, I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug, you get in there getting rough. You can find me in the club, bottle full of bug. Mama, I got what you need if you need to fill the bars. I'm in the having sex, I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug, you get in there getting rough. You can find me in the club.
Alright, today I'm going to be showing you guys a breakdown of how I made my 50 Cent in the Club remix. So for starters, you're going to want to get like an AI vocal remover. I use this Ultimate Vocal Remover V5. It's just a desktop app you can download, super easy, super quick, clean. I've seen a lot of good things about this on Twitter. I think it's like one of the best ones around. It's free. I would recommend that. So for this song, I wanted to just like start with like a lot of energy off the bat and like something that like super hype. Like I wanted this to be played out at like a festival or something when I was writing it. So I went for like a 12 bar build here just to kick things off. And it's really just like drums, like tons of drum layers adding onto each other. So I'll just like add one by one. And you guys could see how much of an effect it has. So we'll just start off with the hats. Then I added this like chopped up break. And all this is being filtered, various filters and this far away rack, which is really just like reverb and some washout. So it's just fading things in cleanly. Then I added this snare build. Chopped it up. It's just doing like eighth notes with some volume, with some velocity changes. And then in this next 6 bars, we really ramp it up. So I changed up the patterns just to pick up the pace, and then I added some claps. And then what really tied it together, I think, is like these offbeats that I added, just kind of giving it like a rhythmic feel. And they really added a lot. All right, and then there was some kicks and some other stuff that I had bounced out that was in some old projects, so I don't know what happened to it, but I think for the most part, this is just a layer of everything. So I probably could have just mixed everything a little better, but whatever, I had some stems, so this is what you're left with. That's the build right there. Pretty much other than that, we've just got like a filtered bass. And I'm teasing in the drop, some drop elements in there as well. And then in the melodic section, I have this melody that I chopped up that's pretty much like riding the whole track, but I just have it filtered in different ways for like different segments. So for the build, I pretty much just have like a sustained version that's just like holding the root note. And then I'm teasing in like the So I'll show you guys how much like of a difference that adds to the drop in a sec. All right, one cool thing I did do with this riser, you can kind of hear it at the end here. Basically, if you just take like a frequency shifter and you do some automation on it, so I'm automating the fine and I'm automating the dry wet, it'll just kind of make it have this like, it's like washy, bubbly sound, which is like really cool for building tension. All right, so for the drop, I have pretty simple drums. I like the boom bap style drums, so I go for those, but they got to be loud enough for like dubstep. So it's really like finding the balance. A lot of hip hop, kicks and snares aren't meant to be pushed this loud, so you just got to find some good samples or layer a bunch of stuff. That's what I found works best for me, at least. So I've got two layers forming the kick. And then I have 2 layers forming the snare. One's coming from this drum break. And so there are some like additional kicks like here and here that I'm not layering up. And so it gives them more of a real feel because I'm not going to sidechain for this. It's just like in the song, but it's not like as impactful as these other kicks. So it just adds like a really nice groove. So all this layered together is. And for the hi-hats, it's just 2 layers doing a simple 4th pattern, and I got a open hat over here in the end of the phrase just to switch it up. So that sounds like this. And then just for some like accents, I added these like reverse hats. So all together, that's what the drums sound like. So moving on to the basses. For this song, I just have like this one gritty lead kind of going the whole time. And since it just like comes in full blast on the one, like I don't have like a downbeat or like some space here or anything like that. What I did was I have it like filtering in right here to kind of tease it and make the listener ready for it. So then when the drop hits and the drums hit right here, it could just go like full throttle. So on this section, the reverb is just that far away and the washout again. So it's just like reverb and filtering being done. Kind of sounds like this. And then right here on the drop, like all that reverb just cuts out, all the filtering cuts out, and it just feels like so big. And so for the bass, this bass is really just held together by like just like too much compression and saturation. And if you guys ever want to make yourself feel better about mix downs, here's how many I did. Yeah, too many. So I finished this song in December 2022, like right here, final mix down. And then I was mixing it down periodically all the way until July, until I finally had a version I was happy with. So this frustrated the hell out of me. So don't be like me and make it a lot simpler on yourself. That being said, this bass is simple, but it is just like, without any of these pieces, it completely falls apart. So let's just turn everything off, give you like a breakdown as we go through. Let me just loop this. So we just have a saw bass and we're pulling out some like resonances with the filter here. Sounds super bad. And then adding a little bit of dimension, give it some width, some distortion, and some OTT. Sounded a bit fuller, sounded a little better. I did some detuning after the fact because if I did it before the OTT, it was making my bass like phase a lot in mono, so I'm doing it after the fact, just like a small cleaning thing. And then I added a saturator on hard, erosion, and then an amp to pull out that noise. So normally amp after erosion sounds like dog shit. I don't know why this one worked, but the amp is really holding everything together and making it have this like nice distorted tone. And then I just have a Pro Q, just doing like a little bit of cleanup, getting rid of some harsh stuff. That's pretty much the bass. Just slap a sub on there, and that's all you need to do. So moving on to like the second half, how I did these switch ups. I basically just duplicated the bass a couple times. So down here we have these, and again right here, kind of leading into the second half, I have this bass filtering in. So on this one, it's pretty much all the exact same processing and the same patch. The only difference is I rearranged some things, I guess. I put the erosion first for some reason, and then the auto filter is doing most of the work. The auto filter, I have it on this morph, and I was just messing around with automating these, the filter, or the frequency, the resonance, and the morph. That's how I'm making the wubs. And then some multiband, pull out the top end just a little bit, and some more OTT afterwards, because I needed to like make the sound full again after the autofilter, because the autofilter takes a lot out of it. And then right here, just doing some different movements. So for this B phrase bass, this is just like, I don't know, the response bass, pretty much the exact same thing. Duplicated the patch, but I'm just using Filter Freak here this time, which is just like this really cool filter by Sound Toys. I really like messing with this. I think it gets a lot of cool tones that I can't get out of other filters. And so this one's just doing like a little pattern. So next to each other, they sound like this. So like I probably could have gotten the exact same thing with the auto filter here, but the Filter Freak just kind of has like its own like, you know, analog warmth to it, and so it just gives it like a slightly different tone, makes it sound nice, like kind of on the AB. And then for this the main part of it, it's really just the exact same bass from earlier, the main bass, and I just added a layer, and this layer I'm using Filter Freak to like pull out a very specific, or like a very narrow resonance, and just layer it on top. And if you layer anything that's like super resonant and just like taking up like one frequency space on top of something else, and maybe like squash it together a little bit with some compression or saturation or something, it's gonna sound really good. So together it sounds like this. And so I was just like automating it to follow this pattern. I think I actually had it like this. I was just bouncing samples before, so that's why I made it all one note. Yep, there we go. And so that switch up now sounds like this. All right, and for the second drop, I was trying to figure out like, how do I take this to the next level? So I have the exact same build, and I just added a little fake out. And in this 4-bar fake out, I'm basically just taking the main bass from the first drop and just doing some like more filtering on it to kind of just tease it. And then I wanted to like take it to the next level, and it took me a while to figure out how to do this, but what I decided on was I duplicated this main bass, and I wanted it to like, I wanted to add like a wubbing bass. And so on this one, I pretty much just have like an auto filter. Close this down so you can see it. An auto filter that's doing like fourths or eighth notes. And then this amp and wave shaper are just like pulling out that sound, because without them, it's pretty weak. So that made this cool layer, but by itself, it was like so empty and there was no energy.
Bottle full of bug, mama, I got what you need if you need to feel a buzz.
So what I did was I layered it with the original bass, and now these like are pretty much gonna sound good together because they're like the exact same bass, like the exact same tone and everything. And I'm just doing like a little EQing to kind of make some space for where this wub sits on this lead, but it just adds like fullness to the background and makes it all sound like one patch. So it sounds kind of cool. You can get everything I just showed you in the sample pack. I'm going to put it down in the description for free. If you make anything cool with it, tag me and I'll repost it. Thanks, guys.